the Icon locking flex head and ratchet bit set from Harbor Freight.
Of course.
Okay, if you've ever seen one of these before, this is a security bit set. This particular one is by Warrior, also Harbor Freight. Pretty common item in a toolbox. You've got a lot of bits here. If you don't know, security bits are different from regular bits because they have a little tamper resistant hole in the middle of them. A security bit screw will have typical screw shape, but let's say it's an Allen, for example. It will have a little cylinder coming up the center of it, preventing any sort of a screwdriver from getting in there and tampering with it if you don't have the right size Allen. These bits aren't typically something you'd use every day, but when you encounter one, they really do come in handy, which is why I have no problem with this Warrior set coming in at $10 from Harbor Freight. It's well worth the cash. If nothing else, it gives you a ton of Phillips and the Posi drive Phillips bits as well. 16 total different Phillips head bits. Granted, these are all 2s, so they give you 10 of those. And then you have a lot of your flats as well. So I would say not most of it, but a lot of it is just regular screwdriver bits. And then if you look down here, regular Allens. So you only have a handful of the tamper screws, and then you have a bunch of the square drives and things that, you know, you will use from time to time. So for $10, it's all right. But as I was walking down the aisles of my Harbor Freight, this caught my eye. Now there were two things about it that made it stand out. One was, it said Icon on it, but the packaging was a little bit strange for an Icon product. It just looks a little busy. I don't know. I'm not here to critique the package designer, but I almost thought that it was turned around backwards when I saw it on the peg. It also stood out because it was in the impulse aisle at the cash register, not down any of the other aisles that you would normally find an Icon tool. So I thought to myself, let's give it a shot. This one is significantly more expensive than the Warrior. In fact, it's 4 times as much. This is $10, this is $40. So I was taking a bit of a gamble, but being that it was Icon, I thought probably gonna be an okay buy. So let's get it open. Still enjoying the Icon drop point knife. I know it's a knockoff, but it's a decent knife. First impression, this is a nice case. Really well made. It's mostly plastic, but it's got kind of a rubber liner on it. Gonna stay put. The case is actually pretty impressive. I don't want to geek out over just the case and not the tool, but that's nice. This would definitely fit well and unnoticed in a tool bag, in your service truck, in your car, something like that, when you might actually need one of these. You never know when you're gonna need it, but it'd be nice to have. It has a little latch on the front. It's spring loaded. Pull the latch to the side, and there you go. So not as many security bits. We do have the flathead bits. We have some Phillips down here. We have some Posi grip, Posi track, whatever you call those bits on the side. A couple of Allens, pretty common sizes here, pretty common sizes there, and only a handful, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are actually security bits. So most of these are gonna be used in just a regular daily fashion. You'll also notice that it comes with a ratchet. Now this thing is pretty impressive. They've spent a lot of time designing this. First and foremost, it's reversible. Secondly, it is a flex head, and it is a locking flex head with a little button to help you move it and lock it into position. The other thing it has is a thumb wheel. I made a short about thumb wheels a while back. I think a lot of people have no idea that these things exist and how much help they can be in a tight space. You grab your 3/8, you grab your thumb wheel, put it in between the ratchet and the socket. When you break the fastener loose, you can use your hand to help you out. So instead of doing these little 1 and 2 tooth turns in a tight spot, you can just get in there, as long as the fastener's loose, of course, and take it out basically with your fingers. The Icon Flex has a built-in wheel, which is nice. This is a 60 tooth ratchet. The handle has a 1/4 inch hex on it down at the bottom, and it's for its little magic trick. I'll show you here in a second. If you're just using a regular bit, you notice we have little stoppers built into it. So when you put the bit in, it'll lock into place, so it won't fall out in your engine bay, which is a nice touch. You do have an extension, which again locks into place and locks onto your bit, so you're not going to drop it. But the little trick this thing's holding is if you look close, we have our notches to lock into the ratchet, and right along this edge, we have a bunch of dots. Now those dots and the dot on your ratchet head, if they're not lined up, so I'll put them on opposite ends, the extension locks into place and it won't pass through the head of your ratchet. If I line up the dots, the extension goes right down to the middle and then it locks into place. So now you can put a bit on it, break the fastener loose, and if you wanted to, drive it from the end, like a thumb wheel with an extension on it. But what they really designed this for was so you could put it in the bottom of the handle and now you would have a T. Basically, giving you one of these in with the kit. That's a pretty clever design feature, especially how they thought to index it so it can't always go through, but it does have its little magical spot. If anything, the $39.99 price tag of this Icon bit set is worth the price for this little ratchet. This is my favorite 1/4 inch ratchet. It's a flex head, but it's not indexing, and it's about $40. This is $40, and it comes with a bunch of bits. Another feature they give you is a 1/4 drive shank, so now you have basically the exact same tool, except this is only able to drive 1/4 inch sockets, and now this will drive 1/4 inch sockets. It will drive Allen bits, screwdriver bits. It's a T handle, it's a flex, indexing flex. This is just a really nice unit right here. I was blown away with all the design that went into this little thing here. The case is nice and sturdy. If you flip it upside down, nothing falls out. It's almost like they were thinking when they designed it. Let's take this one. Is it made as well? You can already tell it's not. I'll put everything back in its holder. I'll make it fair. There you go. All right, let's test this one. So if you're like me, you might have seen this thing and thought, $40 is kind of a lot. Hopefully now you get a chance to see how it's actually made and where that $40 is going. This is a very nice little kit for the money, and like I said, you could just throw this in your glove box, throw it in your tool bag, it'd be right at home in your work truck, and you'd have it if you need it. You do not have all of the bits that this guy will get you, but the beautiful thing about standardization is if you add an extra $10 to your $40 bit set, you'd get both of these, and they are fully compatible. They work just fine. Even little index holds, and also there's a little magnet in there to help retention. So there you have it. Another quality tool by Icon. Swing into your Harbor Freight. I just saw on their site they're having a sale for, I don't know, it's like $33 now for this, which is absolutely worth the price. Even 40 isn't that bad, but for 33, 34, it's a no-brainer. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section. And if you have a suggestion for a tool for me to review, something you would like to see, feel free to drop that as well. I do appreciate all the views, all the comments, all the interactions. And as always, thanks for watching.